I wanted to keep them with me. And as my obsession grew, I was saving body parts.
In the depths of our penal system, a sad reality exists. The iron bars and concrete walls of prisons are built to contain danger. Today, our true crime journey takes us into the dark world of prison life, where the rule of law can seem but a faint echo. These are the worst in-prison killings in history. Our first case takes us back to Walpole State Prison in Massachusetts, the final dwelling place of Albert DeSalvo. Also known as the Boston Strangler, DeSalvo ended the lives of 13 women in the Boston area between 1962 and 1964, and he was sentenced to life in prison.
But I think there were some copycats, and I think a man named George Nasser, who was Albert's cellmate, might have done a couple of them too. Some of the attorneys always thought that. F. Lee Bailey did, who defended DeSalvo in the crimes that he was convicted for, the assaults.
Behind bars, however, it was DeSalvo who would become the victim. On November 1973, in the prison infirmary, DeSalvo was found brutally stabbed and lifeless. Despite the high security surroundings, the perpetrator was never brought to light. A haunting question lingers. How could such a violent act occur within the infirmary of a state prison, a place where safety should be a given? As we journey further, we find ourselves in 2019, in the high-security confines of the United States Penitentiary. This West Virginia facility was the final home of Whitey Bulger, the notorious Boston mob boss. Bulger's reign of terror lasted decades, his name synonymous with fear and violence. Yet his life would not be taken on the streets he once ruled, but within the prison walls. Bulger was found helplessly beaten in his cell, dead just a day after his transfer to Hazleton. Our next tale draws us into the depths of Wisconsin's Columbia Correctional, where we find the infamous Jeffrey Dahmer, the man who horrified the world as the Milwaukee Cannibal.
Not because I was angry with them, not because I hated them, but because I wanted to keep them with me. And as my obsession grew, I was saving body parts such as skulls and skeletons.
His gruesome exploits saw him murder, dismember, and cannibalize 17 victims between 1978 and 1991. For our next chapter, we head to the state prison in Attica, New York. In its grim hallways, we find Samuel Harrell, a man serving an 8-year sentence for a drug offense. Harrell wasn't a violent criminal, but his life would be snuffed out in a disturbing manner. Harrell died during a confrontation with prison guards, an incident later dubbed as the beat-up squad case. The guards, in an excessive show of force, caused injuries that led to Harrell's death. To conclude our haunting journey is the story of Colin Hatch, a man whose notorious past would ultimately lead to his demise within Full Sutton Prison in England. Hatch was a convicted child killer, sentenced to life imprisonment for the murder of a 7-year-old boy in 1994. His crimes were so heinous that he was detained in a maximum security prison. However, even the high walls of Full Sutton could not stop the fate that awaited him. In 2011, Hatch was strangled to death by his fellow inmate. The reason behind this gruesome act remains shrouded in mystery, but speculations grew that the inmate was so repulsed by Hatch's narratives about his crime that it led to the swift, rage-filled attack. Each of these stories paints a picture of life behind bars, a world where danger can strike at any moment and from any direction. They reveal a side of our justice system that often remains hidden from public view. These tales serve as a grim reminder that for some, the sentence handed down by the court is not the end of their ordeal, but merely the beginning of a new and potentially deadlier chapter. Join us next time as we continue to peel back the dark veil on humanity's most terrifying tales.